If you take a half of a yard of fabric, which is 18 inches, and you fold it in half, this will go ahead and make you 18 yards of continuous Weltcord. That's if you're using 5/32 Weltcord. If you're using a Weltcord that's bigger than 5/32, like a 1/4 of an inch, you won't make as much continuous bias. So just note that if you're using a 1/4 of an inch Weltcord. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take this piece and we're going to fold it in half, and we're then going to go ahead and sew. Around all 3 sides of this. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the sewing machine and do that right now. The sewing machine that I'm using today is a 1540 Pfaff sewing machine. It is a regular home sewing machine. It has a welt foot on it that we're going to use for the Weltcord, but it's just a home sewing machine that an average person can use in their home. What's important about the foot of the machine is that it has enough clearance that you can get the thicknesses of fabric in that you are sewing. So if you've picked a fabric that's too thick and it can't get in underneath here, you'll have to find a different sewing machine. But this is just a home sewing machine. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line so you can see it a little bit better. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. The dark line is where I sewed all 3 sides. The next thing I'm going to do is draw a line diagonally from corner to corner. And I usually don't draw a full line simply because it takes a lot of extra time to draw a full line. So I've just drawn a partial line. I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and I'm going to just clip off the corner so I can get inside the piece and cut only the top layer. And I'm just going to cut down that line. And clip off the other end. All right, so I've cut 1 layer of fabric. Now if I cut all the way through and did cut 2 layers of fabric, all I would have is 2 triangles, and that's not what I want. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to the other side, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other 2 corners that I did not previously cut. Here are my 2 corners that I cut, and here are my other corners, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line again. Clip the corner and go ahead and get inside. And clip the end. And I've cut that one. So now I have 2 cuts. And with that, I'm going to magically open it up, and I'm making a tube, just like this. I'm going to go ahead and take this tube and have it lay down on the table. And everything's not totally even, but that's okay. I'm going to even it up as I cut it. And in order to save time, I usually fold this up 3 to 6 inches from the top. Now I'm going to do next is we're going to go ahead and mark the strips that we're going to cut. And these strips are going to be 1.5 inches wide because we're covering 5/32 Weltcord. And I will show you the Weltcord, but let's go ahead and just get these strips marked and cut the strips. So I'm going to lay my ruler on here and go ahead and mark these 1.5 inches. Again, I don't draw a full line like this. In order to save time, I just do a partial line. So I'm just going to go through, and in the middle of the fabric that I'm going to cut, I'm just going to draw partial lines. And we'll go ahead and even this off at the end, just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and cut this. And you have to have a hula skirt before you can go on to the next part. We take our hula skirt and we open it up. And we still have a space here that we're going to need to cut. See the space right here. Now, if we cut these strips straight across, all we're going to have are circles. And we don't want circles, we want continuous Weltcord. So let's go ahead and lay this down onto the table. And we're going to go ahead and draw some lines so we will get our continuous Weltcord. And we're going to start one line in, and we're going to go up to the other cut line right up there. So we're just going to take our ruler and draw the lines. Let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So we just have our lines drawn like that, and then we just simply cut it. All right, now you have the continuous.